other each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. My Broncos won last night. It was a fun game to watch. It was fun to watch the Browns quarterback. That guy's on fire, man. Wow. Judy just tore through us. Man. It's weird because you watch all that hype and you kind of get caught up in it. Then you watch Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton meet each other after a game. Like, good game, man. You know, they challenge each other. They try and, you know, for all that flair, that's just for the cameras and stuff, man. It brings entertainment. And because let's remember that football is entertainment, and football players are partly actors. Anyway, good morning. Yeah, we'll decline that. Okay. Working and doing some stuff in a group. I'm going to be building my groups and stuff back up again. Yeah. I'm not going to give away any of my good stuff till people are here. I always forget about my rewatchers. You're too quiet, man. You're too quiet. So yeah, my rewatchers. This morning I was thinking about time, you know, and I don't remember how old I was. I think I was in my early 30s, maybe 34. And something happened. It turned out to be gallbladder stones, right? And I had to pass some stones. But it made me extremely sick. Sawyer, will you stop, dude? We've made so much progress, and now you're whining. Then come here, dude. Come here, Sawyer. You're not Sawyer. I know you think your name is. I have 4 cats. 2 of them know their names, right? But they'll be in the sunroom, and I heard my cats. All of them will be going down the stairs or over here. Oh, they put in a new one. Restream's trying to give you new stuff because of all the bullshit they're doing. Anyway, so I gotten really sick. And I usually average around, you know, at that time I averaged around 170, 180 pounds. And I went down to 120. I was like a rail. And I was sick for months. I remember Christmas. I was just skin and bones. And I was pretty close to death. My mom had to nurse me back to health. So thank you, Mom. Thank you. Yeah, we got to remember these people in our lives that have saved us. Literally have saved us, right? So, all right. Well, looks like I'm hitting a blank. I'm not going to go for that anymore much. Things have got to change a little bit. But let's go ahead and do introductions. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. And who knows if that number up there is even correct. So we're going to go ahead and move on. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. And we will go ahead and get started here. I'm reading out of the Hazelden literature, which usually does not lead us to anything in the big book. But we are going to be in the big book. I've meant to prepare. And God brought me right to it. Thank you, God. Right. It's quite often that I see a lot of posts and things where people have been stating, I've got this, I've got that. Maybe it's time. Maybe they're thanking other people or situations for getting them and keeping them sober. And God is left out of the whole equation when really it was your higher power that did the work. I tend to believe that any recovery without a higher power is incomplete. Right? There's a new way coming out. Okay. And I don't want you to be fooled by stuff because there's also nothing wrong with this. Okay. And it's evidence-based treatment. Okay. But I want to tell you what that is real quick before we go. Because it's not, what is the meaning of it? It just, treatments that have been scientifically tested and subject to clinical judgment and determined to be appropriate for treatment as a given individual population or problem area. I kind of work on that a little bit myself. We call it what are the needs of the community, though. We don't have to be, okay. But listen to this, and it's a clinical side, but some of this is decent. Use of oxygen. You're going to be on oxygen. We also call this the belladonna treatment. It's hydrotherapy, oxygen, management of agnia. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea. Protocols regarding alarm fatigue. It just feels like they're talking over our head. Getting rest. Let's just keep it simple. Recognition of family members' influence on a patient's presentation of symptoms. See, now all of this, what is that? What is all that? Well, it's AA. It's still AA. It's still cognitive. It's going to lead you to cognitive behavioral therapy, which is the steps. And people are like, well, you haven't checked out evidence-based treatment. I'm like, we've been using that for 80 fucking years. Actually longer. It's been around longer than AA. Okay. It does help. Okay. So what these things really are things that'll give you a better chance at staying sober, of living a good life, a healthy life. Right. Okay. I've gotten through a lot of things. Now Dion's to a point where he and his wife we're looking at health. We're like, okay, we need to eat better. We need to get healthier. And that's where we're at. And sometimes it takes steps. Some people do it all at once, and good job, man. Good job. Let's get to the reading. Oh, this is lonely. I don't like it when I blank out anymore. I used to be okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's not as fun. Well, I'm an emotional vampire, man. So when people come on, it changes. Because what was I just saying? Well, I changed to fit people's needs, man. I'm malleable. I can do that. I've had to change so much that's not really, it doesn't take much effort for me. And I don't mind. You're my friend. And isn't that what we're supposed to do? So you do it for me. All right. December 3rd. Our ancient enemy, self-will, wears a mask, confronting me with this sort of rationalization. Why do I have to lean on God? They're being rhetorical here. Okay? Because do I lean on God? No. Mm-mm. Sometimes I have to. Sometimes I get mad at God. He doesn't mind. I think my higher power would rather I take my wrath out on him than one of his children. Sometimes he picks one of their children. Okay? It's embarrassing. It's hard. Okay? But, we got to go through it. But for the most part, no, we walk hand in hand. He does not treat me less than or more than him. He just doesn't. It's a perfect relationship. All right. Hasn't he already given me enough intelligence to think for myself? Yeah, we have self-will. I was just listening to this preacher guy, and I guess he's also a famous musician, and he was saying that somebody asked him, "How do you know that it was God's will for you to become a musician?" And he said, "It wasn't." And he's right. That is his self-will. That was his decision. And what he did is he had talent, and he took that talent in order to bring more people closer to God. That was his choice, not God's. But it was presented to him, right? So when we go through this, it's also about finding what is good about you and emphasizing on that, or encouraging that motion, or that emotion in this case. I have to pause when such things creep into my mind, remembering that I never really been able to bring much about the results. I wanted simply by relying on my own devices. Oh man, I would love to be self-sufficient, but it doesn't work that way. At the same time, there's a part of me that's like, well, if I was totally self-sufficient, I wouldn't have the friends that I have in my life either. I don't know what I want to do without that. I wouldn't have my daughter. I wouldn't have my son. I wouldn't have my 3 daughters back in my life. I wouldn't have my 5 grandchildren back in my life. Fuck alcohol. If I didn't have a higher power in my life, I wouldn't be able to be a good example. And right now, I'm having to be the best example that I can for my kids, because they're going through shit. They're going through stuff, changing jobs, trying to figure out who they want to be, breakups. Yes. And since I was an absentee father, they're kind of my number one priority. It was one of the reasons that I decided yesterday that I'm done. I'm done reporting. I'm not going to do it anymore. I know the process. If somebody else wants to do it, I'll show it to them. But as for me, yeah. Hello, I just restored my address. I have no fucking clue who you are. I found that your number does not have any call records or names. Who are you? I'm sorry, but and it may be somebody I know. That's the hard part, because people contact me all the time, but unless I get to know you, I don't put you in my phone. I'm not going to put you in my phone. Sorry. All right. There's that distraction we needed so you can listen for a few minutes. Yes, that happens here quite often. The cats, the children. That's why I don't do clips. That's why everything is raw, because you sat there and watched my cat play with that bag back there while you were listening to me. See, I also entertain. I have to, or you're not going to listen. You can't help it. We're human. I can only hold your attention for so long, right? All right, so I'm not self-sufficient, nor do I know all the answers. Whoa, no, I don't know all the answers. Bitter experience alone teaches me that. Okay, let's rephrase that, because let's remember that words matter, because I don't want bitter in there. We don't need it. It's an adjective that is not needed here. Okay. Nor do I know all the answers. Experience alone teaches me. Now, why am I saying that? Because you don't have to learn the hard way if you don't want to. It's not required anymore. You can do this simply. It may not be easy to right size that problem, okay? But you'll find yourself much more efficient, able to get through that problem when you do. And we can apply this to Rule 62. Okay? Don't take yourself so darn seriously. Take the program seriously. Okay? Do I know that I need God's guidance? Am I willing to accept it? Yes, and yes, and yes, 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 yes. Okay. Now, see, when you do this, there's always this need to bolster pride and ego. Okay. And quite often you'll hear people say things like, I get asked quite often when somebody says that, I'm going to tell you, I've been doing all this kind of stuff for a long time. No, they don't. No, that's what we call a leeway, and it's made up, and so. All right. So the thing is, sometimes here's the. Oh God, this is hard to explain. I know what question you're probably going to ask next. Right? And how do I know that? Because it's in my mind. It just pops into my mind. What about this? And even though I may know the answer to that, I still got to answer it, right? And I don't need to make everything hard. I don't need to do that. But gosh, it's easier when it's hard. Why is that? Because I'm used to it. All right. Today I pray. I pray that as I become stronger in my conviction and in my sobriety, I will not begin to shrug off my dependence on a higher power. Now, here's the thing. I'm human and I need dependence. But I got to watch where I put it. Do I depend on other people? Sure, I do. Sure. Yes. Is it an expectation anymore? No. No. Okay. I'll give you, it was my son's birthday in November. For some reason, I always think it's the 16th, but it's the 14th. Right. So on the 15th, I told him, and we had seen each other too. And I said, I always think your birthday's the 16th. You might as well just get used to that. But happy birthday, son. I probably, they said, no worries. I forgot to tell you happy birthday. Right? There's no offense being taken here. You know, our lives have never worked that way. He has never really celebrated Dad's birthday. I can't expect him to remember. Good morning, Amber. It's good to see you. Yay, we got somebody here. This has been a lonely business for the last 18 minutes. Not really. But it is always better to have someone. May I continue to pray for guidance even when things seem to be going smoothly? That's exactly what I need. Oh, see, thank you. See, like I just said, well, that's the thing, because you're right. You're right on that. Why is 16th stuck in my head? Because there's a lot of major things that have happened on the 16th for me, right? What did I say earlier? Do I need about dependence? And you may not have been quite here yet, Amber, but this is what I said. Do I depend on my other people sometimes? Yes, I do. You bet. And this is why. So thank you for proving my point, Amber. Yes, that's the dependence, to remind me, to give me, oh, Dion, this is kind of what I do. And then we can hear other people's experience. Now, what did we say before that, Amber? You're going to love this. Right? It says, nor do I know that all the answers. Bitter experience alone teaches me that. And I took out the word bitter because that just, it's kind of like saying rock bottom. It's qualifying it. It's putting a requirement in it. And we don't need to make this harder. I'm seeing a lot of people do that. So I think Amber recognized it a few months ago before I did. That's why it was coming up. And how do we know that? Because we do it too. We're not psychic. It's just that we're so much alike that I know what you're thinking. I know what you're going to do. Right? Because I would too. Yeah. Or I have. done it. So I do, when things are going smoothly, I do what's called double down. I talk to God more. More. I want more. So oh God, why can't I remember their name? I'm searching. It's an old goth band. Darn it. It's 3 words. All right. May I know that I need my higher power as much in times of triumph as in times of trauma. Okay. I need God at all times. I really want to switch from God to higher power here. So I'm going to start doing my best to start you. I don't know that's going to work. Yeah. I always need my higher power. What sends out more alcoholics? Excitement. Just because it was a nice day. Yeah, what is that? That's self-sufficiency. Oh, it's a good day. I feel great. I don't need God. More. Who sings that? It almost came back to me. See, the problem is 9 Inch Nails keeps going through my head, and that's not even close. I can even see the album cover. Okay. Today I'll remember. God, it was almost as frustrating me. Oh, Rebel Yell. Okay. In a Rebel Yell. He does the other side, though. I can't. No, I can only do this one. All right. Today I'll remember self-sufficiency is a godless myth. Yeah. Do I have self-sufficiency? Sure, I do. With guidance, with the right tools, with these things, sure. Because I have self-will. Absolutely. No, this is like a goth band that you probably wouldn't even hear on the radio. You'd only hear it when you go to the club or... Lyrics, I want more. Nope, that's not it. It's not Kaleo, trust me. Not even close. God. It's gonna bug me. All right. Now I'm gonna go to we agnostics. If a mere code or morals or a better philosophy of life were sufficient to overcome alcoholism, many of us would have recovered long ago. But we found that such codes and philosophies did not save us, no matter how much we tried. And because at the core of us alcoholics, we're great people. We are. We're really good people. We will go out of our way. We will do anything on this earth if you are willing to try something. We are. We will hold space. We will love you until you learn how to love yourself. And doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you come from. We don't even need to know your background. Why? Because we've been there. We've been there. We know what it's like. You don't even have to explain loneliness to us. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Nothing worse than explaining why you feel lonely. And the other person going, well, I don't understand why you would feel that way. Well, you just made me more lonely and I don't want to fucking talk to you. And then what does that turn into? For me, turns into anger. Fuck you. That's me and my self-sufficiency, trying to, I was always told, Dion, you need to learn how to entertain yourself. So I did. That's what I was told. All right. We could wish to be moral. We could wish to be philosophically comforted. In fact, we could will these things with all of our might, but the needed power wasn't there. Our human resources, marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They failed utterly. Okay. And Amber, you've experienced this a little bit. This right here, if you have a little bit of time in the program or 12 years like I did and you go back out, this. Sure, there is, but it wasn't a comparison. If you want to, sure, there's much more things. And so, sure, chopping your head off, that'd be much worse. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to have fun. And it didn't work. So, but yeah, sure, absolutely. Lack of power, that was our dilemma. We had to find a power by which we could live, and it had to be a power greater than ourselves, obviously. But where and how were we to find this power? And I'm learning to say that's okay. I understand why you don't understand. I take it as they haven't had that experience yet. Yes, but it's the worst. I think you're taking a little too far. I'm talking about when you first came in, you didn't have those skills. You didn't have those skills, right? See, sometimes I'll talk about something you already know, and you already know this. So you're going those extra steps, and I appreciate that. For me, it's the worst, and I'm allowed to have that. There's nothing worse than having to explain my loneliness to me. Absolutely. For somebody else, that might be different. Well, that's exactly what this book is about. Its main object is to enable you to find a power greater in yourself, which will solve your problems. That means we have written a book which we believe to be spiritual as well as moral. And it means, of course, that we're going to talk about God. Here, difficulty arises with agnostic. Many times we talk to a new man and watch his hope rise as we discuss his alcoholic problems and explain our fellowship. But his face falls when we speak of spiritual matters, especially when we mention God. For we have reopened a subject which our man thought he had neatly evaded or entirely ignored. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but the thing is, when we're talking here, there's going to be things that come up, and I want you to say them, because who knows what kind of discussion that's going to bring, But what I appreciate here, Amber, was that you got to the solution. And that's something that I love about you and my friends, is that we're solution oriented. Yeah. So sometimes I'll talk and I might frustrate you because I'm not getting to the solution yet. And the solution here is, doing the steps, figuring out a little bit about who you are. Been a lot of talk lately about, the first year of sobriety. And so here's going to be the challenge. Let's go ahead and get rid of that, because, doesn't it feel like a requirement? I mean, it's a clinical thing. It doesn't really have anything to do with AA. It's not in the big book. No, it's not. As close as it gets to in the big book is more will be revealed to you and to us. That's as close as it gets, right? And it's about relationships. I think the deciding factor in all of that is, how are we treating others now? How are we, and I can only speak on me. I abused every fucking relationship I was in. I did. I abused them. I used them. I had a lot of emotional dependency, and I need to put that dependency somewhere else first before I bring somebody else into my little world of misery. I don't want to cut anybody down, because then it makes it sound like you're not worth having. And that's not true. That's not true at all. But I would love to help anybody. My daughter's kind of going through this. She went through a breakup, right? And she's a lot like me. So, and please don't take this wrong, but I need to be the next person that she dates. I need to take her out on a date and show her how things go. Yes. Because if there's one thing that there is about Dion when he's sober and doing the right thing, it's respect for others. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll go out on a daddy-daughter date. A couple other things. I'm going to be building my podcast up again. I woke up today feeling like a free-ass motherfucker, man. I'm glad I made the decision yesterday that Dion's done enough. He did enough, and now I'm gonna go do what it is that I want to do, and I really love doing the podcasting. So, people have been asking for years, and I didn't feel like the time was right, but I think we're getting there now. And I think it's time to bring my wife on. I think it's time to do a little more family stuff. People really seem to enjoy the relationship talks and things like that. My wife and I have been through a lot, and we talk to each other differently than we do other people. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I just don't know how we're going to set it up because I don't want her in the same room. I want her somewhere else because that's just how it works. But both of us being on the same camera is going to be tough. But I have a whole nother setup. I mean, I've got 2 more computers and microphones and cameras, so I can set her up maybe, in the other room. But then we can hear each other, and then you're going to get this. See, I got a lot to think about. So, yeah. Well, I think that's going to be it for this one. It was good to see you, Amber. I almost had it again. Why? There's a T in it? Tech? No, it's not Tech 9 or anything like that. Oh, if I figure it out, I will let you know. Oh, God. Goth band with... Yeah, I don't even know what to ask. See, it's like, I don't even know what to ask. All right, when I figure it out, I bet I've got a CD of it somewhere. Because I want more. All the love that I give. Oh. I want all the love I can give. Now. No, it wasn't the Temptations. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. Peace out. And have a day.